Internet, Eric here. I'm going to cut to the chase. Been meaning to do this discussion video for a while now. Today, I'm going to discuss It, Chapter 2. Normally, I have the physical copy, or I have like my iPad showing a poster. My iPad's dead, so that's what you're getting. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, what have you. However, I am going to try to keep my spoilers in this pretty darn vague, but there's an addendum here. I'm going to assume, so make sure you pay attention listening to this. If you have not seen the film, you have either read the book or you've seen the 1990 miniseries, because there's stuff. I've never read the book, but I know enough of what happens in the book, and I have seen the miniseries enough where I'm going to discuss things that happen there that do happen here, whether positive or negative. So you're taking your own chance watching this video, especially since the movie's only like a week or two old. So that's it. Warning's over. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, blah blah blah. I just said that, didn't I? Basic plot of this is it's the continuation of Chapter 1. Losers Club is back as adults to stop Pennywise. There you go. I really enjoyed Chapter 1, and I want to say this. I thought Chapter 2 was even better, and I'll get to why. First off, the cast. A lot of unknowns to me other than three characters. First off, we'll talk about those characters. James McAvoy as Bill. I really liked his performance. He, emotional when he needs to be emotional. James McAvoy's fucking awesome. Stern when he needs to be stern. Frightened when he needs to be frightened. He is perfect. He's a great lead in this film. Jessica Chastain, never heard of her. The only thing I knew of her was she was going to be in X-Men Dark Phoenix, and she was a redhead. I watched X-Men Dark Phoenix. She wasn't a redhead, and she didn't have much to do in that film, so I didn't give a shit. When I watched her in this, very likable, very sympathetic, not over the top, not too girly girl, not too the opposite of that. She's a great character. I liked her a lot. And then Bill Hader. Bill Hader plays Richie. And I had only seen Bill Hader from a couple comedic things. I mean, I loved him in Superbad, and he was a lot of fun in Paul. That's it. And I was interested, especially with Bill, because there's more drama in this movie, or drama, compared to what he's known for. And everyone's praising him for and saying Oscar worthy. I don't know if he's Oscar worthy, but he is pretty damn good. He does his smart ass routine, as the adult Richie. He doesn't come off as annoying as Richie as a kid, which makes sense because he's now matured a little bit. But then there's some very good dramatic scenes, which I think he does nail. He knocks it out of the park with that, as that cliche goes. So the three leads, fantastic. The other losers, let's see here. Guy who plays Ben, he's fine. Nothing special, I don't think. They don't give him a lot to do, but he's okay. They do the pining for Beverly stuff quite often, and it is quite lame. He's friend zoned throughout the entire movie till the end, and it's not his fault. That's just how the director did it. But he's okay. Nothing special. Eddie, he's okay as well. He gets a lot more comedic time to shine. Sometimes he pulls it off great. Sometimes it's really over the top. Like, I'll get to a scene in particular, but overall, he does very good, and he is like a doppelganger of the young Eddie. All these actors are. Mike, again, Mike doesn't get a lot to do. I mean, what he does in this movie is super important. He learns the back history or the backstory or the origin or whatever of what Pennywise is. He learns about the ritual of the chewed and how to perform that and this and that. So what he does is important. He's the one that brings everyone back because he witnessed it. No, he didn't witness it, but he learns of this murder that happens in the beginning, or this death that happens in the beginning, and he's the one that calls everybody. but he still isn't in the movie a lot. There's a scene where it's a final confrontation with the Losers Club and Pennywise, and Pennywise is doing this last vision thing. He's scaring everybody except Mike. Me and my wife were sitting in the theater. We were wondering, where the hell is Mike at? Oh, he's over there hiding. So the performance was great, but they just didn't give a lot of him to do, just like in the first one. And Stan, like I said, if I'm assuming you've read the book or you've seen the miniseries, Stan kills himself. He's within the movie 5 minutes, if that. But he's the biggest doppelganger. He's definitely the best of the casting, for the adult characters. So overall, the acting is either really good or it's decent at best. So the Losers Club is okay. Pennywise, with little screen time he's in, a lot of people are complaining that there's hardly any Pennywise in this movie, which I thought was okay because the movie isn't about Pennywise. It's about these characters coming back and being reintroduced to their fears. Okay, Pennywise can take the form of anything. We saw that in the first movie. We see that in this. It's just people are more so recognized. They recognize the Pennywise character more. I think that's why they're disappointed. But when he's on screen, Bill Skarsgård once again kills it. I especially love the scene where he is coaxing the girl with the little birthmark on her face under the bleachers. I think it's at a softball game, and it's pure just like with Georgie in chapter 1. It's pure, hey little kid, I got some candy. Get into my van type of thing, preying on her innocence and the fact that she's different because she's got a birthmark on her face. So he's saying how he's always being picked on, and he paints his face as a clown because people say he's ugly or something like that. So really creepy. Really disturbing. And then the other times when he's just going over the top, it's really in your face, and I loved it. Bill brings it, and it's fantastic. So wonderful performance as Pennywise. I love the creativity in this movie, and that's why I put it over chapter 1. We get let's just say when they're in the house in Nilbog Street, we get to see more of them like going around and seeing the inside of the house. And I'll just say, excuse me, the fridge scene, there's a nod to The Thing and you'll know it, and I thought it was fucking awesome. But that whole scene was in your face and creative, and I fucking loved it. I loved a lot of the creativity with the other I guess nightmares, when Pennywise is harassing all the adults. I loved what they did with Beverly and the creepy naked old lady, and Jesus Christ, and you see everything. Even though it's bad CGI, I did not like the way she looked. It was still pretty in your face and over the top and creepy as shit. Like I liked more when the old lady was in physical form than CGI titties flying everywhere form. But I like the creativity there. I loved how I didn't even notice it. Me and my wife watched in chapter 1. We never saw Richie's harassment from Pennywise. Everybody else had it, but we never saw Richie. We get to see Richie's in this, and it involves the Paul Bunyan statue, among a couple other things, and it's really good. Love it. Again, just the creativity. I love how let's see here. I love Beverly as an adult. Jessica Chastain talked about how she could do a scene with the most blood ever used in a movie. That's a great creative scene. I love Ben's at the end. Again, just over the top creativity. Loved it. I liked Henry Bowers. I forgot to mention him. He is back in this. He's used very sparingly, but I like this actor who used him. He's very good at being psychotic, but he's not over the top, jumping around because I'm crazy psychotic. And I like how they break him out of prison is done a lot better than in this than it is in the miniseries. There's no fucking Pennywise with a dog head and slow motion falling guard or whatever. So that's done a lot better. What else? Some of my problems, though. There's a scene where Eddie is it's Eddie's hallucination or whatever when he's an adult, and it's really creepy, really intense. Like he's down at the bottom of the pharmacist lab, and he's got to do something while I think it's the leper, or a witch or something. He's got to do something while fending off that creature, and as he's doing it, it's really intense and really scary. And then suddenly, the director decided to use the song "Angel in the Morning," and it just didn't fit. It was super awkward. I hated it. I literally hated it. I sat there wondering why the director did this. It didn't fit. I don't know if they're trying to make it a little bit of a comedic twist, or what do you call it? Just raise the lower the tension. What am I trying to think of? Comedic relief. If it fell flat, it was just stupid. Other things I didn't like. Let's just say, I'll keep this as vague as possible, but I'm sure we're going to discuss it in my Two Bearded Losers podcast this coming weekend, where we're going to spoil the whole fucking thing. I didn't like what Bill read at the end. I'll just leave it at that. Other than that, though, there's not a lot. Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't like the ending, and I know there's an ongoing joke about Bill's character, how he's a great writer, but his ending sucks. I didn't like this ending because it was too sappy. It's great to see, because Stephen King himself, gets a lot of criticism for his endings. Like, he's got all these great characters, and in the end, the ending is horrible because it's just such a downer type of ending. And to me, they defeat Pennywise, and it's great that the Losers Club are now living happy lives, but it's just a little too sappy for me. Just because of what Bill reads and how it folds into how it's edited with the other surviving losers. No, just didn't like it. It felt like an after school special to me. What else? I will say this. A lot of things people shit on about the miniseries, especially when they're adults, is eventually Pennywise becomes the form of this big giant spider. I will say this. Spider looked a lot better in this one. It was a mixture of Pennywise and a spider. Thought it was great. Again, they did a good job of making it intense. Yeah. So, CGI has come a long way since 1990. So I do give it props. I didn't mind that it was the fucking spider. I liked how it looked. That whole last, 40 minutes was perfect. Well, minus the sappy ending. But the whole last, let's just say, 35 minutes when they're fighting Pennywise was damn near perfect. Because I just thought of another thing that I had a problem with. They used like a love conquers evil thing between Ben and Beverly that I just thought, no, why? I mean, I don't know how they would have saved each other, but I hated it. It's another cheesy cliche. But I just thought of another thing. I mentioned the comedy with Eddie. There's one scene where he's fighting Henry Bowers, and Henry stabs him, and it just really takes the comedic form, because it's just, he gets stabbed in the cheek, and that's not a spoiler, because if you've seen a lot of the promotion stuff, he's got a band-aid on his cheek, and he's trying to talk with the knife stuck in his mouth, and it's just, I know it's trying to be done for laughs, but this film, I think, with his comedy, does it too much. I mean, I know they're trying to lighten the situation a little bit, but I didn't like the way the actor portrayed or played out that scene. It was too goofy for me. But again, a lot of this stuff, don't get me wrong, a lot of this stuff is me just nitpicking. Because I'll tell you what, this movie was over almost 3 hours, and it sure didn't feel like it. A lot of people were saying it was too long. I thought it flowed really well. I didn't mind how they defeated Pennywise, to be honest, because it made a lot of sense. And I won't say how they defeated him here. Say that for the podcast, because that would be a major spoiler. A lot of people didn't like it. I did. I thought it was really well done. It made a lot of sense. Pennywise, I don't like the way he looked at the end when they were defeating him, but again, nitpicking. And I did like how we have the ritual of the chewed here. Um, and it's not like the book because there's no fucking space turtles or any of that stuff. I like how it didn't work, and they had to go past that and find out another way to defeat Pennywise. So that was a cool nod to the book, but then make it its own. There's some cameos in here that are great. There's a lot of nods to the miniseries that were great. So a lot of nods to other Stephen King books that are great. There's at least 2 Shining references. It was such a good movie, and like I said, my dislikes are super nitpicky. But overall, it Chapter 2 better than Chapter 1 in my opinion, based on creativity. Oh, and another thing I didn't like because they had flashbacks with the teens. They did make Eddie a little bit more annoying. You could tell his CGI facelift was not very good. I was getting an X-Men: The Last Stand, Professor X, Magneto vibe there, but overall, really liked it. Great performances from the first 3 actors I mentioned: McAvoy, Chastain, and Bill Hader. The other actors were good with what they were given. Pennywise was great. The creativity was great. This wasn't a scary film, but it was creepy. It was dirty. It was gooey. You felt nasty watching a lot of scenes. The CGI notwithstanding, hit and miss. The Titty Witch sucked, but Pennywise the Spider, cool. Yeah, the creativity, yeah, nitpicky on a lot of things. Sappy ending notwithstanding. Highly, highly recommend it Chapter 2. So I definitely say if you're a fan of Chapter 1, definitely go see Chapter 2. I don't think you'll be disappointed unless you're one of those hard-ass King fans that are like, it's not like the book. But do you really think you should have a fucking space turtle in it? No. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that crap. Tell me what you think. Am I wrong? How am I wrong? Did you like this better or worse than Chapter 1 or the miniseries? Did you like that stupid fucking Angel in the Morning sequence? And if you did, please explain why. Anyways, I don't know what else to say. If you want to know the spoilers, me and Frenzy will be doing an episode of Two Bearded Losers by this weekend uploaded, with spoilers where I can really go off on that thing that Bill reads. But yeah, cheers and kiss me, fat boy.